Let us know where you're watching from. Say hi when you hop on. There we go. We got some coming now.
Hi, Julie.
Got several on now.
Very good.
Make sure you say hi. Hi, Kathleen. Thank you, Julie.
We have another great one planned for today.
Hi, Sherry. Tammy. All right, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. We have a special guest with us today. Dr. Hilton is with us from Elanco, and he is going to talk or share tips on fall herd tuna.
Don't forget to put any questions that you might have for Dr. Hilton in the comments over there, or just say hello and let us know you're watching with us. At the end of this segment, we actually have a pretty cool prize to give away to one lucky commenter. We have this set of cornhole boards, courtesy of Elanco and Cydectin.
We had a chance to test it out.
We tested it out. It's very nice, very well made. Also, one quick mention about a promo we have going on right now too. Today through October 18th, we have this free Scour Boss syringe with a purchase with any $200 purchase of Scour Boss. So take advantage of that promo while you can. That goes on until October 18th. All right, and with that, Dr. Hilton, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. So I got to do one of these earlier this year, and so I must not have done horrible because they asked me to come back. So that's always a good thing when you get asked to come back. So tiny background on me: I'm a Purdue grad, Indiana kid, and I graduated from Purdue from animal science and veterinary medicine. Joined a mostly farm animal practice in Iowa when I got out of college, and loved that. So any of you from Iowa that are here, pop in. And I practiced in DeWitt, very eastern Iowa, and was there 15 years. And then I got recruited to come back to Purdue, and I taught. I took the students out on farm calls and did that for 18 years and loved that. The vet students are the best kids on campus, just awesome young people. And then 5 years ago, a friend from Elanco called and said, we're ready to hire you. And I thought I wouldn't do that, but I did. So I love it. It's a great company, and really proud to work for Elanco. So yeah, I mean, I've spent my whole 38-year career. Yes, I did graduate when I was 12 from veterinary college, so you can do the math. My whole 38-year career helping beef, cow, calf producers have a healthier herd and a more profitable beef business. So I'm very much on the preventative side. I don't want to see sick animals. If you have sick animals, something went wrong. The folks at Valley Vet would much rather sell you some vaccines that they don't make much money on versus some antibiotics that we make pretty good money on those. So we would rather you do really well. So if you're a spring calving herd in the U.S., and about 80% of all beef cows in the United States calve in the spring. Now, spring is in quotes because we have clients that calve in January and February that call that spring, and that is absolutely winter. That's winter calving, which really doesn't sound good at all. And I'm really against fighting nature. So, but I'm talking, from there's not many people that calve in January. So February through May, that's what we're talking about spring calving. So right now the bulls should be out. You should be done breeding and call out your herd health veterinarian to get your cow's pregnancy checked, because a cow that is open all winter long until next spring and you feed her is the same as if you had a small business and you had an employee that was showing up every day at your business to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but never provided any work, you would fire that employee. At Valley Vet, how would that go, ladies? If you had an employee that came, you know, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but actually just went home after that, how long would they last there?
Probably not long.
Yeah, not long. But we let our cows do that, and I don't understand it, because I have cows of my own. My cows are my employees. So I have a nice little, I'll use this, but I have a little, you know, piece of paper, and I show it to the cows and say, hey, do you want to play, or do you want to be in the feedlot, right? And most of them say, I want to play. So they get pregnant every year and everything goes great. So I'm the boss and they're not the boss. I'm very good to my cows. Gosh, my cows have a really good life, but they got to perform. You got to have a calf every year and get bred back on time, things like that. So get your cow's pregnancy checked, because there's no reason to feed an open cow through the winter. I mean, I don't know where all of you live, but man, we've got areas of the country that are in severe droughts, and sitting there feeding some very expensive hay to a cow that's going to return you nothing seems like a really bad idea to me. So get on the horn. If you haven't done it yet, call your herd health veterinarian and get your cow's preg checked. You know, originally they asked me to talk about Cydectin and deworming cows, and I said, yeah, I'd like to talk about that. But to me, this is a package deal. I only want to walk my cows to the chute a couple times a year. I'm not going to be messing with them a lot because they're low maintenance animals. I don't have time to do that. And so fall is a big deal time. So I want to pregnancy check those cows. That's the first thing I do. Then those cows, if they were not dewormed in the spring, I'm probably going to do most of them in the fall. I would love to give you a cookie cutter, one size fits all deworming for your herd. I can't do that. There's no way I can do that. This is a very complicated situation. We sell Elanco. Well, there it is right there. Elanco sells dewormer, but we don't want you to deworm all your cows every year, twice a year, 3 times a year, anything like that. We want you to pick out the cows that really need it. So I'll just give you an example. On my own herd, I actually deworm my cows in the spring. I'm walking them through the chute to get fly tags and things like that. So about the 1st of June, I'm deworming them. So I'm not going to do them in the fall. They don't need to be done. But if you didn't do them in the spring, let's say you didn't deworm them in spring and you want to do them in the fall. So all your cows under about 4 or 5 years of age need to be dewormed, because they're highly, highly susceptible to parasites, and they haven't developed immunity. Cows actually develop some immunity to worms, and that's a really good thing. Your bulls absolutely need to be dewormed. Bulls are more susceptible to parasites, internal parasites, than females, than the cows. So in this instance, I'm not saying all instances, but in this instance, the males are the weaker sex, okay? We're not going to go that anywhere else with that, but on the bulls, no matter what the age of the bulls, you're going to deworm them. So the cows under around 4 or 5, all are going to get dewormed. All the bulls are going to get dewormed. If I got some grandma cows, 12 up, I'm going to deworm them because their immune system probably is decreasing a little bit. But those cows in what I call prime of life, 5 to 10, 5 to 12, something like that, if they're calving or they're preg check and they're going to calve early in the calving season, they're an excellent body condition score, probably going to skip them. That's coming from somebody that works for a company that sells dewormers. We want these dewormers to work as long as they possibly can. We do not want to build up resistance. And the easiest way to build up resistance is deworm everything just in a blanket situation and do them multiple times per year. Really bad idea, because we're never going to kill 100% of the worms. So if we kill 95%, that sounds great, but the 5% we didn't kill are probably resistant to that anti-parasiticide, or that parasiticide, like Cydectin. It can happen, right? It's one of the ones that has the least resistance. In fact, most of the studies that I show of the injectable or pour-on dewormers, it's the least, so it's the most effective for them. So my cows, if I didn't deworm the spring, this fall, I would have given dewormer to all my cows under 5. I'd have given it to my bulls, and then I would have selected, and the grandmas, because I got some 12 to 15-year-old cows. So I'm kind of proud of that, like those old girls. I'm going to deworm them. But those cows in that 5 to 10 range, if their body condition score 5.5 or 6, fleshy, bred early, I'm gonna skip them. So this is a great conversation to have with your herd health veterinarian. Find out, hey, what product should I use, injectable or pour on? When should I do them? Should I do all of them, etc.? Because just doing all of them is not the right way. So I hope I didn't make that too complicated. If I've got any questions, pop those in there. For most of the country, I know what I was going to say too. I talked about prime of life cows, and that is, most studies would say 5 to 10 is prime of life. I was just on a herd visit yesterday, kind of a newer beef producer, and he said to me, because he had a lot of really nice heifer calves, and he only has so much pasture, so he doesn't want to expand his herd. And I said, so, are you going to save some of the heifers? Or are you going to feed them all out? What are you going to do? He says, I'm going to keep most of the heifers and replace the old cows. And I said, okay. I said, so how old is old to you? And he says, any cow over 6 is starting to get old. And I looked at him and I said, you're making a huge mistake by selling 6-year-old pregnant cows to market and keeping a heifer back. And we started talking through it, and he's like, oh my gosh, that makes a lot of sense. So boy, I don't put an age on cows. I look at body condition score. I look at what she's done with her calf. I mean, I've had cows at 6 that are old. Their poor body condition score or their udder's not looking good, and I sell them because I don't need that. But I had 218. You can see back in the background the sign that says 218. One of my friends got that for me. That was my favorite cow, and on the bottom of the sign, and he got it legally. Don't worry, it's not stolen. He had a friend that worked for the highway department. They were changing signs in Iowa on Highway 218, and he got that. And on the bottom of it, it says the slogan that all my students knew when I taught at Purdue, Cow 218. They had to put their hand over their heart when they met her because it was their honor, even to be in her presence because she was that great of a cow. Settled first service AI every year for 13 years in a row, sold lots of great bulls out of her. But anyway, I said she was the greatest cow to every grass. And so that's what it says on the bottom there of the thing. So, at 10 and 11 years old, when people would see her, I'd say, how old do you think that cow is? And they go, 6. See, she looked awesome, right? She had great body condition score. So really look at the body condition score when you're preg checking your cows. If you have a 12-year-old cow that's in body condition score 4, really, really thin, and she's pregnant, going to calve early, put her with the heifers and feed her better, right? If she's a late calver, maybe she needs to go to market. For sure, if she's open cows need to go to market on the deal. So that's a little side note. But I think I just saved that guy thousands and thousands of dollars by suggesting he not sell these cows that are in prime of life. There's no reason. To me, 10 to 12 is starting to get a little older, but I still don't sell a cow on an age basis. I sell her on production. Lice control, really, really important this time of the year. And we see the products being put on incorrectly all the time. So Cleanup 2 is the premier product out there for lice because it not only has a pyrethroid that kills the lice right away, it has an insect growth regulator that kills the eggs. So you don't have to get the animals back in 2 to 3 weeks later and pour them again. Because raise your hand if you enjoy working the cows through the chute and then 2 to 3 weeks later doing it all over again to do one single thing. So if anybody likes doing that, let me know because I don't. So I like to use a product like Cleanup 2, or I like to use Cleanup 2. It's, like I said, the premier product. Don't pour them too early. We need to wait until we've got some winter hair coat on those cows so that we have a really good kill with the product. The other thing I suggest people do, so the dose for an adult cow is 30 ml. So I'll set the gun on 13 and I'll go from the neck up toward, as high up on the neck as I can get it. And I'll come down to about the middle of the back. But I use the nozzle that's a straight nozzle, not the shower nozzle. You don't want it to spread all out. You want it to get down to the skin. So put that straight nozzle right on the body and drag it along. If you get to the middle of the back, fine. If you don't, no big deal. Then you got it on 13 again. So now you go from the tail head up. And if you make it to the middle of the back, fine. If you've got a gap in the middle of the back, no big deal, because that's not where the lice live. They live way on the front, way on the back. Then switch your gun to 4 ml because you've given her 26 ml. Switch it to 4 and put it right down her forehead, right down her face. There's actually lice that live underneath the chin, and that way you get them. If you squirt them as they run by, not going to work. You're going to have lice breaks in the winter, and you're going to call these gals from Valley Vet where you bought your product and say, hey, that dang product didn't work. And sorry, it was because you didn't put it on correctly. So not trying to point the finger at everybody, but usually when we hear about breaks, it's because of application way too early in the season or on one spot in the animal. So get it on correctly. These products are not inexpensive. You know, Cleanup 2 is a very high quality product, and you know we want to use it correctly. We want to use that correctly. Vaccinations. So you say, did my cows get virus shield in the spring? If they did, probably don't need it in the fall. But if they didn't, this is the time to give virus shield 6. On my own herd, I use virus 6 plus L5-HB. I don't vaccinate for Vibrio. It's not something that I see in Indiana. We don't see that. If you see the disease, then you should vaccinate for that. Again, your veterinarians in your area should know, you know, which products to use and whether to spend the extra money for that product. You can use it anytime. So this pregnant cow, no problem. It's not going to cause her to abort. It's a wonderful product, inactivated. You can use anytime. Also a great time to use Scour Boss. If you're calving in the spring, giving them their annual dose of Scour vaccine. Scour Boss is a wonderful product. I've used the precursor of it 30 years ago when I was in practice. That oil adjuvant really lets us give it way ahead of calving time, so you don't have to get those cows in, you know, right before they calve and give the dose. So great time to pregnancy check the cows, get them dewormed if that needs to be done, treat them for lice, prevent that lice, get the virus shield into them for your reproductive reasons, get Scour Boss in them so that it goes to the colostrum and protects that calf. In our area, I actually have a cutting tool that has a little knife blade on it, and I snip the end of the tail, the switch of the tail, the hair of the tail off, because we have mud season in Indiana during winter. We always have mud, and these cows with those big long tails, they get mud on the tail, and then they, you know, can step on each other, rip it off, swing around a mud ball, and just cleans them up and makes them a lot cleaner during the year. If you put fly tags in the spring, take them out. Put the bucket that you're putting them in on the tailgate of the truck. Do not throw them on the ground because the farm dog may find those. And if they're an organophosphate tag, you can get an organophosphate toxicosis in your dog. We had it happen one time on a farm call. The owner was not picking them up, and we were picking them up, but he left some laying around, and his dog had a $600 bill that evening at the emergency clinic. So pick those fly tags up, get them out of the cows. They're still emitting little bits of insecticide, and that's how we get resistance. So cut those out of the cows, put them in a bucket, and put them in the trash so the dog can't get to them. So I talked a lot. Sorry about that. I gave a lot of stuff. Oh, you guys have this too, don't you? You have this nice little handout that we made.
Yes.
This is an Elanco product. And what it does, it kind of gives you a template of what to give at different times of the year. And it actually has a column over here to the side. Where's my finger? Right there, where you fill in, and you can get one of these, put the year up here at the top, and then you can fill that in and have it on, you know, for your file. Because when you do something once a year, you forget the names of the products, right? It gets really confusing. And there's a lot of products that have similar names out there. So this is a nice handout. And I know you guys have these on hand. I don't know if you can email them to your customers or stick them in the box with their stuff or whatever, but we will be sure to get plenty of them to Valley Vet Supply so that they can send them to you. But this is something we're really proud of. It's just a framework. It is not cookie cutter. It needs to be customized to your herd and to your goals, but it's just got some reminders on there of what to do at different times of the year. So I'll shut up. Do we have any questions? Because I'm glad to answer those.
We did have one from Julie. She says she's a first-time heifer owner. And she was wondering, is lice that common in cows?
Yes, it is. Yeah, Julie, it's really common. I'm an odd veterinarian. Okay. I'm a minimal medicine veterinarian. I want to use management to solve problems instead of medicine and money. And interestingly enough, I now work for a medicine company, and they're okay with me saying that because it's the truth. Valley Vet Supply doesn't want to sell you stuff that you don't need. They don't get any joy whatsoever of selling you something you don't need. I think like the Virus Shield product, IBR and BVD that are in there are what I consider core vaccinations for every cow herd. Those diseases are so common, I think nearly everyone needs to use those. Julie, if you have one cow, the chances of you having scours in that calf is close to zero. So I would not vaccinate for scours. I don't see any need. But lice control, cattle have lice. So I would be pouring. It would be a core product for me for lice control. You know, I don't know where you live in the United States, and I cannot speak to other areas. I've only practiced in Iowa and Indiana, so I'm a Midwest veterinarian, and never practiced in Oregon or Florida. So I don't know. You'd need to ask a veterinarian in your area, what they think. But I consider lice a very universal parasite that we deal with. It's like horn flies. That's going to be a universal. Putting in fly tags, I think, should be done in nearly every herd. I think the Corathon and the Silence Ultra fly tags are just phenomenal, and really, really like those. But this little handout, this will be good for you. Take this to your herd health veterinarian and say, what do you think, doc? Do I need this or do I not? So do you just have the one heifer, Julie, or you have some cows and just one heifer that's going to calve?
She said 6.
6. Okay. So, that just increases the chance that you're going to have lice. I'm nearly 100% that you should be, preventing lice with a product like Cleanup 2. Because, those cattle scratching all winter, not only does it not do them any good to be scratching, because those lice are taking nutrients from the animal. When they start scratching on fences and gates and barns, and they tear up things that, end up costing you hundreds of dollars to repair because the cow's sitting there scratching, not good for your bottom line. So a few dollars spent on Cleanup 2 is well worth it.
I think she used the drench gun maybe when she said that.
Sherry said he used the oral drench for Cydectin as a pour-on applicator.
So Cydectin is not labeled for cattle for oral use. It's labeled for sheep, and so that's the only way that it's supposed to be used for cattle. I personally use the injectable on my cows. I use the injectable Cydectin, and then in the spring when I give it, I pour them with just a fly control product. I use Permectin CDS. It's less expensive than the Cleanup 2, and then I come back in the fall, and yeah, literally I preg check my cows, and because I preg checked them early, I am going to have to walk them through the chute again to give them their Scour Boss and their Cleanup 2 because I didn't want to do it too early, but I'm okay with that. I like to preg check my cows early because the market goes really south on cull cows from September to December. So I preg check my cows usually about the last 20th to the 30th of September. And those cows that are open, that are fleshy, I get them right to market because the price really, really falls. And to me, it's worth the extra money that I get for those cull cows. I can still afford to walk my cows through the chute. I usually do them sometime between Halloween and Thanksgiving here in Indiana. So that's a time where the winter hares really starting to get on the cows. I'm not dealing with lice issues yet, but to me, it's a great time to prevent them. If in your world, let's say you lived in Tennessee, it might be between Thanksgiving and Christmas would be a better time to pour those cows for lice. But September is too early. That would be a great chance that I would still have lice breaks if I would have poured my cows with cleanup 2 on, September. I think I did it on the 28th this year. I checked the cows.
Julie says they're still young, but she plans on building the herd eventually.
Wonderful. Yeah. And don't sell them when they get to be 6. If you do, call me. I'll come and buy them. That's what I told this producer too. I says, hey, let me know. I'll come and get all of them. Because gee whiz, that's, come on, a cow that's 6 years old that's had 5 calves. What's the chances she's going to have any trouble having a calf next year? She's gotten bred right on schedule every year. What's the chances she's going to be, she's going to be pregnant. She's going to raise a big calf. I mean, that's the sweet spot. So yeah, he was happy to hear that.
All right. We don't have any other questions right now. You must have covered it all. No questions.
Must have. Yeah, I tend to talk too much, so sorry about that. I want everybody to do well. I want their herds to be healthy and them to be profitable.
Well, if you do have questions or you watch the video later, it will be up on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Don't be afraid to put a question in the comments because we will get a hold of Dr. Hilton and get an answer for you. We won't try to answer it because we don't know what we're talking about, but
they know how to find me.
We know who does.
Track it down.
All right.
So we're going to go ahead and unless you have anything else, Dr. Hilton. Okay, we're going to go ahead and draw the winner then.
Okay,
So,
one lucky winner is going to
get
this awesome set
this.
of cornhole boards.
All right, so the winner is Charlie Gorzalka. Did I say that? Congratulations. All right.
We need a picture of Charlie at the tailgate with those and the people walking around going, what? Does that say done on there? Does that say done?
It's a great set of boards.
It is. I've used them too.
Charlie, if you're still watching, go ahead and send us a message to claim your prize. So.
All right, Dr. Hilton, we want to thank you so much for joining us again, and we're probably going to have you back on here again sometime.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I was very pleased to be here. It's a lot of fun. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, a couple of announcements before we get off of this live video here. Join us next Tuesday. We are going to be going over our new sweepstakes.
Which starts tomorrow. So
Correct.
if you're not signed up for email, go ahead and get signed up. That's the best way to keep track. It is on social, but sometimes you won't see everything that's on there.
And then next Thursday, October 21st, we will be live with Dry Shod. So make sure that you catch that. And one more time, with a $200 purchase of Scour Boss, while supplies last, you can get a free syringe. So make sure you take advantage of that. And that's all we have for you.
Yeah.
Until next time. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Dr. Hilton.